Now the word intention, you may have clicked on this video because you want to know what intention means. Maybe you know what it means. Maybe you think it might mean more than what you might think it means, if that makes sense. But I'm going to go into what I believe intention means for me, for myself anyways, and how to use it, how you can use intention to live a better life, a more effective life, whatever you want to do with it basically. So I'm going to start by going into what intention means for me, and then stick around till the end and we're going to find out how we can use intention to live a better life. So let's just jump right into it. No cuts. This is going to just be a very simple video because intention is very important. It's a cornerstone to a lot of things that are beautiful in life. It's very simple. Intention, the practice of intention, is very simple, but complex if you want it to be. We'll go into that a little bit later, but let's focus on the task at hand. What does intention mean? Or what does it mean for me anyways? Intention means being present in the moment, taking presence, combining it with a story, the right story for you in the moment when you're doing something. So when I say a story, it's just what you tell yourself about something. Say, yeah, we'll go with this. Say this peppermint oil here. I believe that, personally, I believe that you can put it in this diffuser and it opens up the airwaves, or it opens up the airways in your nose, and you can breathe better. Why do I believe that? Because I've used it for myself and it's worked. That's the story that I put on peppermint. That's the main reason why I have peppermint right over here. It's if I'm having trouble breathing. Funny enough, now I'm talking about it, I feel my nose starting to clog up. So it's really rooted. The story behind this product is really rooted in my mind, apparently. But that's the story I tell myself. Peppermint oil. It helps me clear my airways. And maybe there's science to it, maybe there's not. Who cares? That's what I tell myself about it. So it's the thing that you tell yourself about it. And when you tell yourself the right story for your situation, when you're being present, you can cultivate intention, which fundamentally, intention leads to magic. I'm not talking about like Harry Potter and all that shit right now. I'm talking about magic. To me is very real. Magic is conjuring something out of nothing. That's what it is in Harry Potter too. So it's it's not as crazy as it is. You can't just make that shit levitate over there. Maybe some people can. That's amazing. If you can make something levitate, put that in the comments below and we'll meet up. Teach me your ways. But it's not magic in that sense. It's just conjuring up something out of nothing with intention. And intention leads to that. So, to give you a real life application of magic, someone thought of a cell phone, which at a time, thinking about that being reality would be like witchcraft. You can actually talk to somebody right here and they're across the world. That would be witchcraft back, 1,000 years ago. Probably even less than that. Yeah, less than 1,000 years ago. That would be crazy. So it's essentially magic. And you can create magic out of intention because you focus in the present moment, you tell yourself the right story, and then with those two things, you can create something out of nothing. So that's what intention means to me. But how are we going to use that? Well, like I was saying, I already kind of went into it, I guess. We can use it to create things out of nothing. But we can also use it to actually live. Now, what do I mean by actually live? The only time that you can actually live is in the present. In the present, telling yourself the right story, an empowering story where you feel good about yourself and you can live your best life. It's the difference between being depressed and being a beacon of hope to someone else. Someone sees you just living your best life, even if things aren't optimal, and they're like, man, I wish I could have that optimism that guy has. And you can have that with intention. Let's go into it a little bit more. So you can think of it that way. You can live your best life in the present moment. And I want to explain something actually before I go too crazy. The reason why I say you can only live in the present moment is because if you're thinking about the past and you're not present, not being present is just thinking about the past or the future. So if you're thinking about the past all the time, you're living in the past. Your mind is geared towards the past. Wherever your mind is geared towards, that's where energy flows, and that's where you cultivate your life. You're just going to be creating into the past. Now, if you're prone to thinking about the future and just glazing the future all the time, you're going to be living in the future, and the future hasn't even come yet. You could die tomorrow. I could die tomorrow. Who knows? We could all die tomorrow. And then the future won't even come anyways. So you're living in an existence that could not even come to be. So that leaves us with the present. The only time that you can actually, literally live. Because what's living? Living is just being conscious and acting on that consciousness. So you can only act on stuff right now, and you can only really be fully conscious of everything that's going on in the present. So that is why the only time you can live is, and it sounds stupid, it sounds stupidly simple, but the only time you can live is in the present. You can't live thinking about the past or the future. The thing that really divides this and really gets you thinking like, holy shit, like that's actually true, is the thought of you can't be living when you're thinking about the past, and you can't be living when you're thinking about the future. The only time where you're actually consciously living is when you're present in the present moment. I hope that makes sense. Maybe I talked about that a little bit too much, but I want to clarify that. It's a very, very, what's the word? There's a nuanced way of thinking about it, where, the only time you can live is in the present because we're not time travelers. But when you really deeply think about it, it's this, holy shit, like I've been lost in thought thinking about the past and lost in thought thinking about the future, but the mind can only truly live when it's in the present. And it's just the way that you word it, and it's still kind of, my mind's still kind of washing over it. And a mentor that I have just recently taken on has really opened my eyes to things like that. And I'm like, I didn't really think that deeply into it. But I hope you can get something out of that and think more deeply into that. We'll move on so we're not going too crazy into one thing. But I want to give you one more thing before this video's up. And I want to give you one more thing that you can use intention to change your life with. So, a really great way to use intention is you can use it for gratitude. You can use it to be grateful. And gratitude is an amazing tool to keep you going on whatever work. Let me rephrase that. I'm not cutting this video. Gratitude is a very great tool that you can use to keep yourself working towards a certain goal you put for yourself. Say you want to be a content creator or a fitness instructor. We'll go with fitness instructor. If you want to be a fitness instructor, you know, you have to create content, you have to, maybe you do, I recommend you do, but let's just say for the sake of this, you have to create content, you have to make your meal plans for your clients, get them the workouts and everything. It's a lot of work, and maybe you have a problem when you're working on one of those things and you get stopped in your tracks by an obstacle, we'll call it. Sometimes people give up because that obstacle is too big. What gratitude will do is say, okay, I'm having trouble designing this program for Jimmy, say Jimmy here, and also Jimmy's complaining. He doesn't want to stop eating stuff, and he's complaining all the time about working out and being accountable and stuff, and he's just being a nuisance. And that makes you almost want to quit. And you're gonna quit. You're just about to quit, but then you realize, and I see this all the time, other fitness guys on Instagram with no arms, no legs, working out like a beast. And you see somebody like that, and you're like, wow, I have no excuse whatsoever. Let's get back to it and try to figure this out. The least I can do is try another day, try another hour anyways, and see if I can get past this thing and be intentional and present with the whole process. See, everything just leads back around. So you're intentional, you're present. When you're intentional and you're present, you see more things. You go on Instagram, you're more present. You're like, okay, how can I do this? Go on Instagram, see what other guys are doing. You see one of those guys on there that's just like, defying all odds and just still going. And you have all of your limbs and everything. You're thinking about quitting? Come on. So it'll lead you back. It'll lead you to gratitude, presence, and intention will just lead you back there again. And it's just a cycle, if that makes sense. I'm starting to lose my train of thought because I feel like if I talk about this too much, I'm gonna go a little bit too crazy in this, but I don't want you to overthink it. That's the main thing. You can overthink this, and like I said at the beginning of this video, you can keep it simple or you can have this complicated. The more complicated you take this stuff at the beginning, the less you're gonna get out of it. So keep it simple. Just remember some of those things that I was talking about, and I just wanted to get this video out before I meet up with a member of the brotherhood that I'm in. He just dropped down here in Nova Scotia, and I'm gonna meet up with him at the coffee shop down the road. Hop on the bike in a sec, but I just wanted to give you guys something to work with before I peace out. But I hope you guys got something out of that. And yeah, go forth and start a conquest and conquer it, guys. If anyone has a better way of ending these videos, let me know. No one's told me otherwise, so I'm just gonna keep thinking of something at the end. Maybe I'll plan something for the next one, who knows? But God bless, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.